Hi guys, this is GTM Server, and in this video I want to show you how to set up Facebook conversion API for Shopify. Let's get started. The first thing that you will need to do is create and add the Google Tag Manager code for the web container. I already have my web container set up. Let's add code to Shopify. Go to your Shopify account, click on Online Store, then Edit Code. Then click on Theme Liquid and paste the first piece of code in the header. And go back here, copy this one, and paste this piece of code in the body. I will click Save. Let's open our site and check that Google Tag Manager works. Yeah, you see that it worked. So let's move to the next step. By the way, if you will see a Google Tag Manager code marked in yellow, there are like multiple reasons for that, but the most obvious reason is that you need to publish your web container. So go to the web container. The easiest way that you can do is configure some new variables. For example, you can click here, enable variables, and click submit. After you do that, you return to your site, refresh the page, and use Google Tag Assistant to see if Google Tag Manager works correctly or not. Awesome. Let's go to the second step. So the second step will be to add Facebook as a sales channel in your Shopify. Go to the sales channels, click plus, choose here Facebook. You will see Facebook. I don't see Facebook here because I already added Facebook. And then follow the steps. The setup for Facebook is extremely easy. You will just need to grant Facebook access to your business manager, Facebook page, ad account, and pixel. And after that, you need to do this. So you need to enable the maximum tracking level. Let me open my Facebook app and I will show you how to do that. So it is located here under data sharing settings, but if you will set it up from scratch, you will be guided. Inside this customer data sharing, you need to enable customer data sharing and choose this maximum level, and then click Save. Why you need to choose maximum level is because with the maximum level, Facebook app for Shopify will track purchase event from both browser and server. So if you added this Facebook app, all events will be tracked on Facebook, but only purchase event will be tracked through browser and server. Basically, conversion API will be set up only for the purchase event. All other events will be tracked only from the browser. In this method that we created, I will show you how to set up conversion API for 3 other events. The first event is a page view, the second event is view content, and the third one is add to cart. So after you complete all the steps from this tutorial, you will track 4 events using Facebook Conversion API. Why only 4 events and not all other events? So if you're using a Shopify Basic plan, you do not have access to the checkout code. That is why Google Tag Manager is not installed on the checkout, and to set up Facebook Conversion API, we will need access to. We will set up Facebook Conversion API using Google Tag Manager, and if Google Tag Manager doesn't have access to the checkout, then we do not have ability to set up a Facebook Conversion API for everything that happens on the checkout. If you have Shopify Plus account where you can access the code on your checkout. In this case, you can set up a Facebook conversion API for all events. Okay, so let's move further. We created and added Google Tag Manager web account, enabled Facebook app for Shopify. You need to create a server container as well. I already have a server container. Let me quickly show you how to do that. So let's say you have only web container, then here you need to click plus, enter your name, the container name, and choose here server, and then click create. After that, you will have to choose how, like, settings of your web container. So here you will need to add tagging server URL and set up your tagging server. If you are using our service, then you will be able to find tagging server URL inside your admin. Let me add my tagging server. I will pause this video and return once I created it. I logged into my account inside the GTM server, and let me show you how to create container. So I will create container. I will call it Shopify test. Here I will, inside the Google Tag Manager server container, I will click set up tagging server. You need to select manually provision tagging server, copy this code and close. Then copy it here and click create container. The container status will be deployed, and it may take up to 5 minutes to deploy the container. Meanwhile, I will set up a tagging server, so copy this link and paste it here and click save. Okay, I will refresh the page here. It's very fine because it needs more time. Okay, let's leave it for a couple of minutes and I will get back to here. So now you have a server container. So the next step would be to add a few scripts inside your Shopify. Why you need the script? So the first script will pull product data into the data layer, and the second script will pull user data into the data layer. You need these two objects, like event data and user data, because basically it is required to set up Facebook conversion API. And the process is that we will get this data to the web container, and then we will use our data tag and data client to pass this data to the server container. So let me show you how to add scripts. You will find a link to scripts inside the blog post. I will add a link to this blog post in the so you can see here analytics.js. Copy it. And now we will need to go to the Shopify admin, click on the online store, then you should go to the preferences, and then you need to add it to the additional scripts of Google Analytics. I will click save. Let's add the second script as well. The second script should be added to the theme Liquid. Let me go back to here, Facebook Conversion API, this one. And the best way to add this script is to post it above Google Tag Manager code. So let's click Edit Code. And click here, Theme Liquid. We have Google Tag Manager here, so I will pass this piece of code above the Google Tag Manager code. So I will click Save. So let's verify that Google Analytics script, yeah, it's added, and the second one is added as well. Okay, so we added additional scripts that will help us to pass user and product data to the data layer. Now, what we will need to do, we will have to import container settings to the Google Tag Manager web container and server container. I already have these settings added to my test containers, but let me show you how to do that. So go to the GitHub and you will find here two files, Facebook Conversion API server and web. Okay, to import Google Tag Manager containers, you need to download this zip file and then go back to the Google Tag Manager web container, click Admin, click Import. You can choose a file. Let me find it. Okay, a second. Oh, here it is. So this is the web container. I will select this one. I will use existing workspace, and you need to select either override or merge. I will click continue. Do the same for the server container. So go to the server container, click admin, click import, choose file, select here server container. I will create select existing, and I will click confirm. Okay, so you've imported web and server containers, and now what you will need to do is you need to update a few variables inside both containers. So let's start with the web container. Inside the web container, you need to add server URL and preview header. Click on variables. Server URL. So you can find server URL inside the server container. You created a server URL inside our server, so basically we can refresh the page and see the status of the container. Yeah, so you can see that it's running, so everything works correctly, and I can just copy URL from here and go to the web container and add my server URL. And another thing that you need to add is a preview header. Preview header is a dynamic value, and you can find it by going to the server container and click preview. Click send request manually, copy it, then click save. Why you need this preview header is because to pass data from web to server container, we are using a data tag and data client. It's our tags and clients, and with the help of this preview header, you can see data tag information inside the server container preview mode. Let's go to the server container. Inside the server container, you need to add Facebook access token, Facebook pixel, and Facebook test ID. Let me pause this video and I will add all this information, but let me first show you how to edit. So again, go to the variables tab, click here on Facebook, for example, Facebook access token, and add your value here. I will pause this video and we'll get back to you. Okay, I added my Facebook pixel, access token, and test ID to the server container, and yeah, let's test what we have. I will click preview and preview inside the server container. This is my store. I will close these two tabs for now. Continue. Okay, so this is the web Google Tag Manager. So you can see here a data layer that we are sending. Let's select a product. So let's see what happened here. So we are currently on the product page, and you can see that on the product page, two data tags triggered. It's a page view and view content. We can go to the data layer, and you can see here that we have product type, product name, price, ID, a brand, currency. You will find this event ID. This event ID is required to set up Facebook event deduplication. You can, so basically Facebook app for Shopify automatically sends test ID. Sorry, not test ID, but event ID, this one. And our script collects this test ID and sends it to the data layer. Okay, let's go to the server container and see what's going on inside the server container. Where is... Okay, so server container is blank. What is the reason for that? The first reason is that if you have a new server container, you might need to publish it. And after that, changes will work. So let me publish the container. And now we will open the preview mode of the server container again. And what we will do is we will check that our preview header didn't change. So I will copy this code and I will go to the web container, find here preview header, and update it. Now we need to update the web preview mode as well. So web is connected. Let's check what we have inside the server container. Sorry, someone is calling. Yeah, you can see that we have a page view event inside the server container. So after we published our container and updated the preview header, everything works. So let's click through the site. I will go to the catalog. I will click on the product page. Yeah, you can see that view content and page view event triggered successfully. What you can do as well, you can open the Facebook event testing tool and check events that you see inside this testing tool. I have it on my second screen. Let me get it here. So this is the test pixel that I'm using, and you can see that Facebook saw page view content, page view events, and like all events were processed and server events were deduplicated. Facebook event, the duplication like mainly work based on the event ID that you're sending to Facebook. Let's go back and check add to cart. So here you can see that add to cart event triggered inside the web container and add to cart triggered inside the server container. Let's go to the events testing tool. Yeah, you can see that add to cart triggered as well. So there is a warning inside this event. It's because we do not have a product catalog set up for the event, but you can see that all the product parameters were sent to Facebook, and this is the parameters about users that Facebook sees. So basically, if user is not logged in, you do not have any information about your user, and that is why you will be able to send only their IP address, user agent, Facebook click, and FBP. If a user is logged in to your Shopify store, then our script will add user details to Facebook as well. So that's it. We've set up a page view content add to cart event. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, purchase event will be set up, will be working from a browser and server using the native Facebook app for Shopify. If you have a Shopify Plus store, then this method that I showed you will work for all events. Do not forget to publish your web and server containers. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you and have a good day.